early 1950s, amidst Cold War anxieties, the Central Intelligence Agency initiated Project MK-Ultra, a clandestine program aimed at mastering mind control techniques. In this framework, numerous sub-projects emerged, each exploring unorthodox methods of psychological manipulation. One particularly audacious endeavor was Operation Midnight Climax. Established in 1954 under the guidance of Sidney Gottlieb, the CIA's chief chemist and head of the chemical division of the Office of Technical Service, Operation Midnight Climax sought to study the effects of psychoactive substances on unwitting individuals. The operation set up covert safehouses in San Francisco at 225 Chestnut Street and in New York City. These locations were equipped with one-way mirrors, microphones, and surveillance equipment, allowing agents to observe subjects in real time. George Hunter White, a seasoned agent from the Federal Bureau of Narcotics, he was recruited to oversee these safe houses. Operating under the alias Morgan Hall, White orchestrated scenarios wherein sex workers paid by the CIA would invite clients to the apartments. Unbeknownst to the men, their drinks were laced with LSD or similar hallucinogens. The agents watched from behind the glass. They took notes of every detail: behavioral changes, susceptibility to suggestion, and willingness to reveal personal information. But the purpose was not merely scientific. It was exploratory. This was uncharted territory in behavioral science. Gottlieb and his team wanted to know, could a person's will be dissolved without their awareness? Could drugs and sexual manipulation replace conventional interrogation? Could a new kind of psychological warfare be born? Not on the battlefield, in the bedroom. The CIA tried more than LSD. Subjects were exposed to combinations of barbiturates, amphetamines, mescaline, and so much more. In some cases, the experiments were repeated over several days without the subject ever learning what happened. White kept a stash of liquor and drugs right there in the safe house, and later admitted that even his own guests were sometimes unknowingly part of the experiment. Operation Midnight Climax ran for a decade. It operated in secret, without judicial oversight. There were no consent forms, no medical supervision. And when questions arose in the early 1960s, the CIA leadership shut it down. But the documents, they did not disappear. They were locked away. In 1975, the Church Committee, a Senate investigation into illegal intelligence activities, brought MK-Ultra into the light. Most of the records had been destroyed on Gottlieb's orders in 1973, shortly before his retirement. But enough survived, and that helped confirm the basics. The basics that the CIA had run drug and sex experiments on U.S. citizens without their consent on American soil in direct violation of the law. The subjects were never named. There were no trials, and there were no official apologies. The surviving documents remained heavily redacted. George Hunter White died in 1975, shortly after the hearings. Sidney Gottlieb died in 1999, having never faced any charges. The apartment on Chestnut Street has since been remodeled, but for nearly 10 years it was more than a building. It was a laboratory, one where the nation took fear and collided with conscience, and where quest for control was tested from behind a mirror, all with a glass of spiked bourbon in hand. These are Interesting Things with JC.